Welcome back to Project Blender. We have caught you 4 minutes early, but there's no time to waste. It's BONK versus KC in the 1-0 bracket of the Swiss stage. I am Hazard, of course, joined by Cairo on the microphone. Hello. As we have, you know, the beautiful face for radio, of course. It's just our voices right now. This is the KC rebuild, though, and the first chance that we get to see them on the Valorant EMEA stream. How you feeling, man?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I mean, KC even able to build this rebuild around Saul Goodman. What a way to
I don't know how they've managed to sign him, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was a character. Never mind being a real life person.
Yeah, but you know, Saul Goodman, of course. You know what they say. The one thing better than having a criminal lawyer is a lawyer that's a criminal. So
yeah, that's true. And do you know what's even better than having that?
Having DOS9 on your team.
Yeah, that's true. But also having Wolverine from Marvel. Wow, this is something incredible that I never thought I would see on the Valorant EMEA channel. It's like the crossover we never expected. Is this
this Waddles guy? It's actually a pig as well. I don't know if you knew that.
Actually,
on the BONK side.
Yeah, from the Simpsons movie. Do you remember?
Yeah,
do you remember the song from the Simpsons movie?
I do. Spider Pig does whatever a Spider Pig does, man.
Can he swing? No, he can't.
This might be the worst pre-show of all time. But, jokes aside. This is a very exciting matchup. This BONK team, to just go over them very quickly, take the name from an old like unsigned BONK team that we used to have, right? I'm thinking like Desmo as well, current Fnatic assistant coach, all of that. They made it to home ground, right? They won the open qualifier to that, so they went pretty far there. They placed first in the first phase, and in the second phase swept up the group. And now they're against KC, so this is going to be a pretty tough one. KC with plenty of household names in EMEA.
Yeah.
And then DOS9. So
DOS9 is Saul Goodman, just for those who are unaware.
Yeah.
It isn't the lawyer.
No, it's not. But we'll see how many players he'll be putting on notice.
Yeah.
As we get into this one, it's starting off with Kubfu's site under siege, looking to hold on to backside here, maybe for a flood.
The Mercurial Levin and Aves to lead the lines, and well, straight away into the kill feed. RKC, a very successful start as that spike goes down.
Spike planted.
There is indeed Ianto, the in-game leader, formerly of Requiem and other projects that we've seen floating around in Northeast, came very close to making the play-in stage of Ascension back in 2024. But he's got a lot of work to do here. And up against KC, they're not going to allow any of it to happen. Aves with a 4K to kick off the pistol.
Yeah, and you know something? Aves is a player that I have grown a great appreciation for after seeing the EU 10-mans, the pro city that was ran during Champions, and just hearing Aves' comms as well, and how vocal of a player he is. Like, he feels like a very natural leader, and you got to remember, this is still a young gun, leading the line for his own region of MENA as well. Like, I really appreciate Aves as a player.
Absolutely. And I think it's also made the roles a lot nicer, as you can see Levin picking up after being left out of BBL's plans for 2026, although looking like one of the best rookie duelists that we had in EMEA, of which there were a couple.
Come here.
Yeah, just adding a little bit more distinction to the roles. We've got Sugetsu back on Sentinel now as well. DOS9 coming in, for those who don't know who he is. He's another player who hails from that CIS region of countries, so naturally a very... the kind of player that fits, I think, what KC want to try and build a lot of the time. Very mechanically talented. Big Time was talking about him a lot on that Boom team that people remember did really well at kickoff at the start of the year. So yeah, definitely an aimer alongside all of the rest, and KC have already shown that, but plenty more targets to shoot through here on B.
Yeah, it feels like the proven aimers versus the tier 2 mercurial talent, and right now the big one, Ianto, is able to at least get 2, but we're up to Wolverine now, or looking to Wolverine, apologies, to see what he can rip to shreds, and it's just a classic no adamantium clause for him, able to get 1, and even pick up a bulldog. Aves was low, he makes it costly in the end, but Aves good for 3.
KOL up into the bonus round, but KC have a dent left in him there. Ianto manages to find a double with the classic in backside, and yeah, that's going to do a little bit of work to soften up the bonus in general, but as I've already mentioned, having the null command available is a huge tool in shutting down what BONK will want to try and do at the start of the round. Look, if you rip this from the barriers towards A or B, looks like they're queuing up here, immediately stops any kind of proactive set pieces coming through from BONK, as you know, they're playing with the breach. That's what you're usually looking to try and do.
3 times KC have started on the B site, but with that knife going off, looks like KC is looking to try and go elsewhere, especially with the space that Sugetsu was able to find.
Yeah, it's a slow round from KC, but they've already conditioned this B space quite a lot, and you can see it's a good investment of the drone here from Wolverine to just clear that back out and make sure that KC aren't encroaching in position, but Aves, just in the audible range, has heard that and is maybe looking to now create a little bit more pressure.
It's big 1 versus 1, which Sugetsu isn't able to win, and Levin maybe stepped a bit too far in A main, which pushes the Sova player towards the B. Wolverine looking to hold on here, but a null command. Sugetsu has the timing of a sentry, and he's calling for his team to take their time, allow him to activate, but the reclear from Demo is good, and so is the hold on backside. It looks like BONK have everything they need to deny KC, but they have lost 3 rifles in the process.
Yeah, most importantly, they're on the board though, and they've stopped the rot. Demo with a quad kill. Sugetsu, unfortunately enough, not able to find anything more from this timing, and honestly, if anything, I think you would have wanted to have found the Cypher player backside and just given yourself that extra bit of control for the plant to come in, but such a fast rotation from the duelist player who failed to land on a roster full-time at the end of last year. Really frustrating for him after dropping a record-breaking sort of 100 kills or so in the Northeast Split 1 Grand Final when he was subbing in for Liquid Academy. So his name in the mouth of some fairly, you know, credible organizations, at least in terms of scouting new prospects. And here he is again in A main. Shados has the spike, and he will hold on to it. Dema dropped early.
It's a big loss. That Neon. Dema, a player who has always felt never lived up to the highlights. Waddles, though, tries to swing out once again and immediately traded. KC playing the patient game, waiting for players to peek them, and that's the 3rd player to do so, and they want to capitalise, not allow a player to escape, and this is when you see KC activate onto the B site.
Yeah, quick pivot. Paranoia here and available for Ianto, but he's just holding the gap right now.
And he's got absolutely...
Flash is perfect, and yeah, there you have it.
No chance, mate. Absolutely none. Put on a platter, and KC so far are eating. Wolverine, how do you even come back into this one? And you'd be better probably saving, right?
Yeah, at this point in time. And he's going to find Levin, but Aves is there for the trade. As you say, KC, they cooked, they served, and they ate.
Exactly, mate. They are eating. Yeah, overall, I think this is a fairly nice game so far, game plan by KC so far, and I think it's one which shows a lot of respect towards BONK, right? You know, there's a lot of shooters there, and if you allow them to brawl, then and catch you off guard, then you're gonna see that go BONK's way. But KC are patient, wait for BONK to try and go for these crazy plays, and are punishing it.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think there's always a conversation to be had when you see Breach in the server in 2025. One of the lowest, if not the lowest, non-mirror win percentage, which means when there isn't another Breach in the server, when there's not another of the agent to pad the stats, how good does he actually perform? And yeah, it's not been particularly great. Wolverine's going to get one here. But what you're really looking for is this initiator to be setting up Dema as much as possible, and I think KC are just way too in tune with how the map's playing out right now. They've got a free A site at their disposal.
And they're walking completely in. You're looking at BONK slowly making their way across. There is one flank which you're going to be looking at Sugetsu to hold that down. But so many rifles in KC's side, and I mean that should be a KC round.
Yeah, Ianto just playing to contain, hoping that maybe the Cypher gets picked off and he can move past this trap undetected, or even just hit the TP, which is what he may opt for. And there we see it on top of the ticket booth, 1v1 against Sugetsu, but loses out on the flank. And the front lines seem to hold well enough. Kupfu at the double, but Shados finishes things right there and then, putting KC up to 4.
Yeah, the 3-round gap extended, and it continues to grow and grow right now for Karmine Corp. I think this is, so far, looks like probably the biggest levels that we've seen in terms of like sheer great, like good Valorant, just punishing the opposing team.
Absolutely, and I think you've got to be looking at the members that they've brought in as well. Levin, consistent throughout last year, some really high peaks and some dips in form in some games, but on the whole versus Martine, I think the huge conversation around him on Duelist was just that the consistency wasn't there enough and we weren't seeing the peaks at all, so definitely good investment to make. DOS9 also fragging from smokes and giving that comfort back to Sugetsu. And with Shados tying it all together, it's also bringing back another player from that Koi project that Grabinho hailed from, the prime example that there was quality there, just the system didn't work, as he is a Masters champion as well, of course, with Gambit back in the day. To the rifle round, they're looking to take flight towards B, and for the first time, they've hit a rock.
Yeah, that they have. It seems as if, well, it looks as if BONK have got everything that they need. They've got the chance now, BONK, to finish this out as they take Mr. Saul Goodman by surprise and double up the round count.
Yeah, man, Slippin' Jimmy's fallen on his ass this time, unfortunately.
Jeez.
Caught him by surprise.
I like this though. I like the idea to go and do the kind of fallen one way from the Omen and then peek off the back of it.
Yeah.
It took KC by surprise and showed them a little bit of disrespect, you know, but one which actually had a little bit of support behind it.
Yeah, that's true. I also realise you've just not gotten that reference because you haven't seen Breaking Bad.
Nope.
So, oh well, that's fine.
Has anyone seen Breaking Bad?
Yeah, just a couple of people, right? It's popular. Shados opening pick again, though. He's been pretty good for these so far.
Yeah.
And, I mean, look, there are lots of ults up in the server right now, but if there was any one that you probably want, it's your Sober ult if you're BONK.
That's a big thing.
I know
They've got plenty more, right? Rolling Thunder would be good in this A main spot if they want to go for it. And well, the activation through the overdrive comes through. Demo trying to slide by 11 will not work out, but Waddle's in this position and Elbow is able to swing an elbow and connect. 2 versus 3. Rolling Thunder actually committed towards sight, and that Spike now under fire, under pressure, but Sugetsu will bail them out. And KC look for 5. All they need to do is find the Cypher.
Kubfu might just want to try and find a way out as he's packed into this
I must wait a moment.
corridor right now. Another reason why we've seen that Breach play rate drop off, and well, we expect to see that trend continue in the current patch, is because the ult is also a lot thinner than it was before. Those changes have also hit agents like Waylay and Fade, but you know, Fade still has all the other elements of her kit that make her viable, whereas here, one of the reasons why we've seen so much double duelist played is because Neon has a stun anyway, kind of works like the Breach stun. Maybe you'd play a Yoru alongside it, you've got flashes, they've opted for the KO here, KC, but yeah, just struggling to see that value a little bit so far.
I mean, this was silly from Wolverine, you know, just jumping through top mids, and I mean, like, you can't be given chances to a team like KC. They are razor sharp, it looks like, at the minute. The teeth cut and ready to fight against a roster like BONK. And you can see the structure that KC wanted to implement. Seems if an aggressive play through mid is worked out. That's a big Hunter's Fury. It only grabs Sugetsu, but not anymore.
Yeah, just out of range to try and find that final player, but Dema has held on to this aggressive positioning.
But unfortunately punished for it.
Yeah, that's a really rough situation. You can see BONK are continuing to mid-round, though. They have a next player further forwards, but here's Saul Goodman.
Here he is, DOS9, sees the barrel, but isn't quick enough to deny a quick pick from Kubfu. So overall, 3-3. Sova, Hunter's Fury in the back pocket for post. I think at the meantime, KC not fully sold on whether they want to finish A right now, and maybe they're going to try and go and look for a pick to bring things back into their favour.
Yeah, it sort of seemed to me like maybe BONK had a bit of a retake setup with that Cypher Cam, but in the end, they just go searching. Kubfu walks down.
30 seconds left.
But KC are playing right into their hands here of the defensive setup, but DOS9 has opened up the whole A side of the map, and Ianto can't follow suit.
Able to at least get one Ianto, but unfortunately misses out, gives the advantage back towards KC. It's up to Waddles now, full belt.
But KC aren't going to remain static from this positioning. They do have utility to fight this, but I suppose if there's a way Waddles can get into that corner on site, it could be a problem just because of the plant if they don't choose to invest the Sova ult here. And they're not going to, so Waddles gets it to half. He guesses incorrectly on the peek out, but finds the first of those kills. Needs the second clean and decapitates Aves where he stands. A misplay in the 2 versus 1 from KC, but take nothing away from the excellence of Waddles.
Yeah, that's a blunder, and Waddles not even using the utility in pocket either. Two flashes still available, but instead, yeah, I mean, a 2 versus 1 clutch keeps BONK alive and somewhat close to their opponents. KC, a team that has always had signs of life, some success on towards sunset, so don't count them out to start to continue on from here, even though that is a 3rd round for BONK.
I mean, the amount of times we saw KC lose a series 2-1 last year was enough heartbreak in and of itself, never mind the potential of a homecoming to their own stadium in Paris. This team feels like the alchemy is correct, the chemistry balanced, yet still we're seeing the proof of the off-season that things still taking a little bit of time to get working. DOS9 on the boost, and Shados droning him onto the angle.
That's the player to try and walk round, and you can see, oh, he's just so close. Unfortunately, not able to find the pick that he's looking for, but elsewhere it is onto the B site, and the rest of the crew trying to find at least one pick, and it's Levin leading the line towards the backside hold. Spike down successfully, and BONK coming in as 5.
Yeah, you can see Sugetsu getting ready to play through. Cam there broken. Knife here could be huge, and KC do still have that Sova ult to fall back on.
And that's exactly what they're going to use, but it's Ianto in the kill feed first. Levin once again being as good as he always was. Aves holding on to backside, and Wolverine now with absolutely no look in. I mean, this is mightily impressive, and for a lot of people, they might not recognise the BONK names, but these are players that could contest KC.
Yeah, these are some of the best unsigned tier 2 players that we have right now, but up against KC, it's just a completely different level. That from Aves was ridiculous, just wrangling the mechanical bull to his liking and finding the second headshot, now sitting 14-4, twice the contributions of anyone in the server right now. And if that's a sign of what's to come, then you can only get excited about this KC team, honestly, because I think when Sadak was there in the previous year, there wasn't too much in the offseason to make you think like, oh, these guys are really going to do damage. And then from kickoff to stage, the improvements weren't there. Whereas, honestly, if they can make a dent here early, in my mind at least, it's some early propaganda to maybe believe that there is more at play here.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we never really saw the glimpse of that KC roster that or was able to like go and challenge through kickoff in 2024, right? And obviously that didn't kick on to have much success in future time. But overall, for BONK, they really need to watch what they're doing here, because they're now on that eco cycle. KC growing from strength to strength. This match could be over quicker than we expected.
Yeah, still BONK keeping themselves in it with the 3 rounds that they have, but I think 1 at a minimum and 2 an improvement on the scoreline that we're seeing right now. Been interesting to see them slowly move further and further back from wanting to challenge A main as aggressively as they have. This comp very strong at doing that. One of the reasons why you bring in the breach, similarly to how Lotus is at times, just for that stun to control the lane.
Yeah. Ianto forced out by the ill drone and just able not to be found. So the 2 players, Kupfu and Ianto, still doubled up, but it's Demer in top mid that needs to be careful. Shoulder seen, and well, unfortunately, body shot. So Neon down, B's site under siege, and Kupfu the first one to try and challenge through market, which leaves just Ianto with a sheriff in hand, a little gap to work with through the cage, and does able to thread the needle. Can't get any more than that though. And that spike will go down towards backside.
KC have been finding so much respite from this top mid position, which is left open, especially once the Cypher's out of play. And Sugetsu locking down the backlines as he has been. It was on the Cypher where he had that highlight play on Breeze to hoist the Copenhagen trophy. But in the partnered era, we've just not seen the same kind of level from him, and as can be said of that Na'Vi project as a whole, which has now almost completely reached a new era, a new look. But Sugetsu has quality in bucket loads, and you're seeing it again here. 7 now secured for KC, their advantage on the half, but BONK aren't out of this one just yet. We do need to see a little bit more from them though.
Need at least 1 in the next 2, right, as they move on towards their attack. And don't be mistaken, Ianto as a caller has proven that his attack side calling, if given the opportunity, can thrive. I always remember the Breeze game when he qualified into Tier 2. We were blown away by the intricacies.
Shadows traveling.
We'll need to see that again, if that's to be the case.
An in-game leader who's always very good at setting up the micro specifically and having a strong mid-round. It's this mid-space, which now you've seen develop into Ianto holding from the boost. Really uncommon position, but Levin still checks for it and manages to stun the captain, so he shall fall.
Oh, kills elsewhere.
Yeah, also with some information in main, this is a bit of a delayed split push onto B in the end, but it does leave only Dema here as the sole defender from backside. Has to hold the line, Dema! What is that? I have never seen a transfer that quick before.
Everyone hiding.
But it has put BONK back in the driver's seat with the spike at their feet. And a moment for us to collect our breath.
Both players have went elsewhere. Sugetsu with an opportunity to grab the spike or grab a 1 versus 1.
30 seconds left.
Cam still offline is going to be without his abilities here. So, off angle that Sugetsu would be walking into, so he's staring towards the ground as to not poke his head out, and now having crossed the angle. Was looking for the duel onto Waddles, which he won't find. First tap, trying to bait out some util. The breach ult is available here and will be invested to great effect as BONK do get on the board again and give themselves that 4th round, which they really needed. But we've got to talk about the transfer from Dema, because that's just stupid.
I mean, I can't wait for the replay to come up. That's
What
insane.
is that?
Please slow that down, replay operator.
That was quicker.
Yeah, I mean, the investment of the ultimate may be a little bit overzealous considering both players were together, but BONK just wanted that round. We're into the next. Plenty of ultimates in the back pocket as well. BONK have everything they need to try and make this 7-5.
Crazy. Waddles does get dropped early on here, though. A defense starts to thin out. Wolverine can't find the shots. The first bullet fired, but Levin that little bit quicker, that little bit sharper, as are the rest of KC. A 4 versus 2 unfolds as the spike goes in on A.
I mean, the last 2 ultimates aren't even ones that are impactful either. And well, Kurtfu is able to get some form of resistance. KC in the end will make it 8 easily. So a big gap for BONK to try and climb back.
Yeah, 8-4 isn't out of the realms of possibility, but it's certainly looking unlikely at this point. Not able to get the most out of the ultimates that they had. I mean, that's the thing, right? It was having the breach in the composition doesn't always give you the best tools, as I was saying, and I don't think we just saw the picture really come together for them. Waddles himself has been high in terms of output of kills, but it's the system more than anything else which maybe needs some adjustments. On the attack side, though, should be pretty good for setting the pace themselves. If KC pick up this one, they will be well on their way to a best of 3 in the 2-0 stage of Swiss.
Oh, that's disgusting. A 3-stack of players completely throwing damage left, right and centre. Them are lucky only to take 1 bullet of damage, though.
Triple Sheriff. We know how strong Sheriff buy is on defender's side. We've seen a lot of teams buying up majority Sheriffs. But that stack just doesn't stop moving. It's now starting to walk through middle as well, reclaim some of this info. And if Sugetsu can buy time, activate a really strong flank, here's Wolverine. And he's done very well to find one.
Yeah, but it's on towards the site. Oh, this is not looking good at all. From convincing to anything but 3 versus 2 now in favour of BONK.
Yeah, Waddles caught on the jump is going to be dropped within striking distance of these Sheriffs. Still 2 of them in play for KC.
And DOS9.
And the same will be said of Ianto.
DOS9 does hold on towards this paranoia, and that's exactly what they're trying to set up. Combination with the info dart, so Ianto knowing about, but do they know about the other 2? The breach in main and the Cypher holding on with Ianto. A smoking pocket will allow the players to encroach on the space, but the shot's not hitting once again. A problem for KC. As the smoke goes up, the players of BONK looking to finish this one out and start to do a dent into the lead of KC.
Yeah, that was a really nice combo from KC to get back into the site. Still anticipating Waddles to be positioned towards main after spotting the cross initially. but the attack just punch their way through and find a way to play off of one another. This was a really nice shot from Waddles, and I think that ultimately was the difference. The Breach players had plenty of impact right now. It's not been through the utility, as I've been saying, but just the shooting.
Yeah, KC's found themselves back towards pistols, classics, the like. Nothing to be expected here, but with 4 players on A and BONK about to walk into this, I'm worried.
Yeah, maybe cause for concern, but have to see. BONK waiting for this one. Well, the flash is good, everybody's blind, and others can't find all too much from it.
Yeah, the flash
BONK
was...
keeping this round as clean as possible, that's what they've got to try and do.
I mean, with only 1 player left to find, that's realistically what this Eldrone's for, right? And they will find the Cypher.
Ooh! I was going to say, a couple classic headshots, it's a different story. Decent damage in the end, but BONK will still walk away with 3 members. And having won that, now heading into their bonus Cairo, I think it's important to talk about them as a team, really, because we don't see them play in challenges consistently at the moment. They'll be looking for Premier tournaments, open qualifiers next year to actually set themselves up.
That's it, trying to qualify in towards challengers and see if they can get the system to work. No more Ascension for 2026 with the 27 review going to happen. And Levin just managing to slide past his opponent. Can't quite get anything from it, but at least Shados is there to support. And BONK's reaction is to head towards B, where Sugetsu is holding. Levin there to support from top mid.
Yeah, Sugetsu just repositioning, and it's such a perfectly placed fragment as well. The nade stopping anyone pushing up further, but Avix has to be aware that this smoke is overloaded, and he is. Oh my god, Avix so sharp on those final 3. Flawless for KC. And that bonus round, despite having rifles involved, amounts to nothing for BONK.
Yeah, I feel as if Aves right now, he completely feels like the franchise player, you know, the one that you want to continuously build around, who's a consistent prospect here. His gunmanship as well as his comms, just a different level. Look how he is head and shoulders above everybody in the server at the moment.
Yeah, he's above a 3 KD at this point in time. And it's looking like the Aves, the talent that was originally signed, more than the one that we saw like on the Phoenix on Sunset on this map from earlier in the year. But look, the round has already started and Sugetsu has dropped in B main. So this is actually a problem for KC, especially with the Rolling Thunder available.
See the combination of utility as they try to burn through some of BONK's, and a return of Eldrones, and they identify the crossfire at least.
Big test here for KC. Their set retake, can it work out? Corner not cleared, Demo overlooked, and a double for his efforts, supported by Cubfoot. Means that Shados walks into the 1 versus 4. The Phantom he picks up less bullets than the last. So his odds not looking any better than they had done. Just the 2 rounds now between the teams. You cannot count BONK out yet.
I wouldn't. I think that's the thing. With such young talent and inexperienced talent as well, once they're able to find the weakness in the armor, they'll continue to try and make it work. The problem is, this is a different level of Valorant, right? Like, you'll see the adaptations come through. What people need to remember is Mosey, a player who, I mean, I don't know, I can't really check the rumors recently, but a player who you could arguably say should be back in Tier 1 after his ability last year in terms of fragging, was one that Ianto had to call against consistently, if you remember, back in 2024.
Yeah, he has reps against other in-game leaders that people will know in the scene. I guess the one thing with that is that Mulsey was in his rookie year as an in-game leader in 2024, so I have to say, I think his calling improved a lot more this year than what he was playing against then. But the point that is being made here, of course, is that, yeah, there is experience of this BONK team playing against higher quality opposition. So, as you say, it's about finding your level here. And with Zeish taking the time out, wondering if it's him in slot instead of Eng, as we have seen him be trialed in the kickoff games sometimes to sort of act as the head coach when required. What changes will be made? It was just that one slight overlook of Dema with the drone in the previous that sold them short. And they might just have to get themselves ready for another B site retake, because Sugetsu is playing a lot more reserved this time.
Yeah, not giving anything to BONK like he did last. Now imagine that's what that timeout would have been about. Not giving anything to your opponent, suffocating them of opportunities. Ooh. But as that happens, Sugetsu comes out and is completely free. Levin at least able to hold on for just a bit longer and plays off perfectly from the Hunter's Fury. Double digits KC.
Yeah, Levin looking really nicely set up in this KC core right now. Someone who, when we watched him on BBL, was always pushing the envelope as much as possible, getting super aggressive and being the hard carry. Whereas here, his positioning is reserved but calculated. He is profiting massively off of Shados's Hunter's Fury there, as well as his own stun. So good comms to set up the play, and KC back in control. Double digits for them now, but BONK have so many ults after not ripping the breach one there into the B execute.
So where do you use them? Where do you find the value again? KC still have that null command, the great equalizer, as they try to capitalise on DOS9's position, but instead it's just utility traded.
Right here.
The market door has been broken though. Aves also introduced to this position to help. And is that just stray spam? Would have heard the drone whirring its way through middle, but that's definitely one way to put KC at an advantage on this round.
Could be another opportunity through Levin as they look to try and set him up. That paranoia just clipped the edge of Levin, the Neon, as he's forced back, but he finds the opportunity, but doesn't take it. We're back equal, and you look at the health pool, and it's in BONK's favour.
Anto starting to drift towards A now. The only issue is, with 37 seconds left, no one's picked up the spike. You could win this 1v1 on Sugetsu, but Ianto has to stay alive, because without his ult, you're not going to be able to retrieve it. It is only Ianto now, and while he's going to catch Sugetsu napping, the gap has already been closed. He might just full stick this, and he does, but KC have read it.
Yeah, that they have very quickly, and it's DOS9 up first, who's already low.
10 seconds left.
Ianto going to be able to get that plant in a safe position.
Spike planted.
Still holding on to a smoke, but not much more than that. He'll place it between himself and the KC retake, which has already arrived in market.
And already by Ianto. May have just seen the shoulder of Aves, but hasn't capitalised off it.
And he's got to walk back in now, and as Aves has the line held. It was as he threw the knife that the arm went back and would have been spotted by Ianto, but not in a position where he could really do all too much there. And having crossed towards defender spawn, we're expecting that retake to come in. Just not a possibility. So 11 for KC now.
And it continues to grow and grow. I think Ianto maybe a little bit unlucky in this clutch's positioning, maybe just giving too much of the spike to KC. Aves 3 away from a 30 bomb in this best of one.
It's ridiculous. What, with 11 assists as well?
Yeah.
But the headline of the previous round is a BONK which were on the back foot almost the whole time. They want to take this duel towards B yet again. They'll go knocking and send Dema forwards with the bucket. It's not going to get anything against Levin's laser beam. Wolverine trading in effect with his own ult. Spam is there on arrival, and DOS9 finds both.
Yeah, a little bit too aggressive in the end though. And with the spike being recollected, where can Wolverine go? It seems to be back into Sugetsu, who has his rifle out and ready. We are at 12-7, and Hazard, it looks like it could be an early night.
Yeah, early by whose standards? I don't know, but for BONK, it's an unfortunate conclusion to their evening, I think. So many ults invested here. It was the Rolling Thunder to catch any players on that right-hand side of B, and the Hunter's Fury loaded on top of it. But KC just spamming into the smoke, do so much. We've got Rudy in the coach slot now, who, for those in Americas, will remember, was the assistant coach of 100 Thieves.
Yeah.
And he has plenty of history as a player himself, but I think it's maybe a little too late here for this timeout to find the kind of impact that it wants.
I think that's the big thing, right, is it's come in a little too late, and maybe like a round or two ago, yeah, 100%, but for Rudy, I mean, he's not like, well, he might have been in the assistant coach slot, he's not really had much experience as a head coach. Another player who has maybe seen VCT but hasn't had the best of experiences in terms of actually being able to handle things himself.
Yeah, and also fully remote in his efforts, being based in the UK. Also, I would believe, don't know, been a while since I spoke to the guy, but he helped me do a tier list for the tier 3 talents, some of which we're seeing in this tournament as they've made their way up the ladder. And now working with this project, you can see BONK, his call in the timeout is to fake B with Dema on the Neon. Doesn't get caught by the knife though. And now KC are starting to respond.
Starting to encroach, starting to move their way through this camp. Takes contact and Sugetsu ready for anything thrown his way. And there's a lot of utility, a lot of bodies, but still able to come out with at least one.
Bit of a rash challenge there with the ult pop before the drone went, but timings might just work out here for BONK regardless. Waddles hitting a headshot onto Aves. Takes the KO player offline, leaving DOS9 in a 1 versus 2. The new player into the side, steps up but falls short. Waddles with 3 kills to keep BONK alive.
Yeah, and 5 points of health in the end. That's the worrying thing. That's how close it got. One more bullet would have been enough. I mean, that's just the margins that we're talking about here. It's not how you win the round, it's if you win the round for BONK, and yeah, they're lucky to have done so.
Yeah, unlucky there for DOS, just overflicked, I think, a little bit with the adjustment onto Waddle's position, just past his right shoulder. A shallower peek from the breach player as KC spend that early KO flash and Omen Smoke to take A main control. In the meantime, BONK setting their sights on mid, as they have done. This is a concession KC have been happy to make for extremity control.
Sugetsu through main, finds Cub through. Not only that, gets the neural theft off, so big information for mid-round in here. If you're KC, Sugetsu steps up once again.
Man, Sugetsu just wants these duels. He's allowing himself to be exposed to BONK. A target-rich environment. As the main players have now moved up, and KC is starting to get split on the B site.
Yeah, Sugetsu wins the next duel as well, so the players are dwindling and dwindling as KC look to charge on onto the 2-0 stage. It looks like a very quick qualification for the French side.